Wonderful. So I want to welcome each and every one of you to our Wednesday night Zoom webinar. Each and every Wednesday night, myself, Dr. Rita McGuire, I'm the Chief Medical Officer for Wakana. I really try to cover a different topic, a topic that we can talk about, discuss, and really see how CBD can be used to assist in that condition. So the whole month of June, what I've done is really to talk about some things that men specifically have to deal with. And why? Well, we know that Father's Day is in the month of June. So we've covered topics as it relates to men and male menopause. We've talked about different topics. What did we talk about last week? We talked about anxiety or stress. And this Wednesday, we're going to talk about migraines. Now, migraines, of course, can occur in women and in men, but we're going to talk about men this evening because we know that men, many times, they don't like to complain, right? They're very strong. They sometimes just deal with the pain, but we absolutely want to empower them to let them know that there is a holistic, natural, organic approach to dealing with migraine. So again, I'm Dr. Rita McGuire. I'm the Chief Medical Officer for Wakana. I represent the health pillar, so I bring all of the educational information as it relates to health. So what are migraines? Migraines are headaches. And these headaches, I saw my mother suffer from for many, many years as a child. And thank God I don't have migraines, but they vary in intensity. They often come accompanied with nausea, vomiting, and sensitivity to light and sound. I remember each time my mom had a migraine, she had to be hospitalized in a dark room. And that's how severe those migraines were. And it wasn't until she got older was when they found out what her trigger was. And the trigger was champagne. So whenever she drank champagne, this is what triggered the migraines. And it took many, many years to figure that out. So many times there's an aura. That means that the symptoms are preceded by some warning symptom. It could be flashing lights, it could be nausea, it could be dizziness, but many people do have warning symptoms before they even have a full-blown migraine. Now, we talked about one of the triggers for my mom, which was champagne or alcohol, but there's other triggers like hormonal changes. And honestly, when we think about hormonal changes, we think about women during their menstrual cycle, but men have hormonal changes too. They have changes in their testosterone level, as well as women have changes in their hormonal levels too, which can cause and bring on migraines. Certain foods like cheese, dairy can trigger migraine. We talked about drinks, many alcohol, champagne, some citrus drinks can trigger migraine. Stress, oh my gosh. We understand the stress that we're under right now with this pandemic has really caused an increase in those who have migraines to have more migraines. Exercises, right? Dr. Rita is always stressing healthy diet and exercises, but there are some exercises that can trigger migraines. Heavy weightlifting, swimming, running, just to name a few. And even some yoga poses. You've got to be careful if you do that yoga pose where you're standing on your head and all the blood is rushing to your head. Those can cause migraines as well. So typically there's pain, it's throbbing. Usually it's in one particular area, either in the temporal area or maybe the back of the head, the occipital area. And then many times these people have nausea and sensitivity to light and sound. So many people who have suffered from migraines, can't tolerate a lot of noise. They need to be in a dark room. and away from light. So some of the areas of pain that they may experience in the face, in the neck, the pain can be dull. The headache can be acute, meaning it can just come out of nowhere. It can be frequent, meaning it can occur every week or every month. It's throbbing in nature. Again, flashing lights, sensitivity to light. Even some people have a distortion in their vision, double vision. Some people have a whole body dizziness. They can be lightheaded. They can just feel really, really sick. Sensitivity to sound, as well as GI complaints. Many people will have nausea and vomiting. And of course, with that comes irritability. There's some people that have nasal congestion, even tenderness in the scalp. So it can really affect the entire body. It can affect every sense and every area that can cause pain from a migraine. Very, very debilitating. So many times it's diagnosed by your physician getting just a good medical history, doing a physical exam, examining your symptoms, and if the symptoms are really severe. And what I mean by severe, if you have a headache that wakes you up out of your sleep, or if you have severe headaches the first thing in the morning, that would cause your doctor to maybe order a CAT scan or an MRI, just to make sure there's not a brain tumor or even a bleed that's going on in the brain. So these are some of the ways we diagnose migraines. Treatment, well, we know that men don't like taking medication. In fact, I don't like taking medication. And some of the common treatments that we use for migraines and headaches is what? Motrin, Aleve, ibuprofen. Those are considered non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or we'll use acetaminophen or Tylenol. Now we know long-term use of these very benign, as we think, medications that you purchase over the counter, we know long-term use can cause kidney failure. It can cause liver failure. So this is why this is important information that you understand there is a holistic, natural approach for treatments for migraine. Self-care, stress reduction, yoga, meditation, getting enough sleep, making sure that your diet is not full of processed food and fried food and fast food. All of these can trigger and worsen migraines. There's certain therapies like acupuncture that you may find helpful. There's something called progressive muscle relaxation and massages. All of these things can be used as treatment options. And then there's cannabis or CBD, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. But just know that men truly hate taking medications, as many of you on the webinar, like myself. So we want to talk about some holistic, natural options for migraines. Well, what is the cause of migraines? Pathophysiology of migraines. Well, it's kind of complicated, but just know that it is a disorder that starts in the brain. And what happens, there's abnormal activity that attacks and begins in the brain and involves the nerves. It involves the nerves in the brainstem. They can become overexcited. They can lead to dilation of the blood vessels in the brain, which affects blood flow to the brain, which causes debilitating pain called migraine. So it's an abnormality in the blood vessels, in the nerves, in the brain. And you can see these nerves, how they innervate so many areas, right? They innervate the mouth, the jaw, the ear, the scalp, the head. So that's why people who have migraines have so many different symptoms, because these nerves that are damaged are controlling even nerves to the eyes. They're controlling so many different areas. So when we talk about migraines and the prevalence by race, African Americans typically don't have an increased incidence of migraines like other races, Caucasians and Asians. But what they did find in this particular study, which I thought was very interesting, and that's why I want to share it with you, is that African American men, though the incidence is not as high as other races, their symptoms are more severe. So they looked at men, African American men, and their pain level is much more extreme than other races. So that's why it's important that we really help all of our men to tackle migraines in a holistic and a natural, organic way. So Wakana is the company, and this is our product line. I want to talk about several products tonight that can assist with those who have migraine headaches. And so we at Wakana offer natural, organic, tested CBD products. And when we talk about our company, we talk about a movement because we believe that the stigma on the cannabis plant still exists. I mean, when you say the word cannabis, people mostly say, I don't want to be high. So our whole vision and our whole mission here is to really help end the negative stigma, to help and to educate and empower folks that there is a part of the cannabis plant that does not get you high. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And then our mission. Our mission is that we are the catalyst to stir a movement to really help folks to get into the cannabis space. You know, you may be on the webinar and interested more in being an entrepreneur, or maybe a formulator, or an investor, or just a customer. So really helping folks to understand that cannabis in this industry and our movement is really to help to evoke people to have the courage and the strength to take back their health in a holistic, organic way, their wealth, to build a legacy, and to have freedom. So these are the four co-founders. I want to introduce you to our CEO, Melissa Boston, who is the visionary behind Wakana. She is a powerhouse. This woman has had 29 years in direct sales, as well as 15 years experience in corporate America. She has built businesses in over 40 countries. She's trained over 50,000 distributors. She's a social media strategist. She's an author, a businesswoman. She is the vision behind Wakana. Our president, Dr. Patricia Van Pelt, is a state senator serving her third term here in Illinois. She also is a businesswoman. She's an evangelist as well. And then our senior VP of sales, Phyllis Nash, she also brings over 30 years of experience in real estate, in the restaurant and liquor business. She is affectionately known as our midwife of sales, where she bursts all the possibilities within you as it relates to sales. And then myself, Dr. Rita McGuire, I'm actually an obstetrician gynecologist. I've been delivering babies for over 30 years. I, along with these three other amazing women, have been in the cannabis space since 2017 and truly have studied this plant as a holistic option for not only my patients, but for myself and my family members. So let's talk about cannabis. And we need to talk about cannabis because our products come from the cannabis plant. And the cannabis plant, it provides over 100 different compounds, 100 different what we call cannabinoids. But the two main cannabinoids or compounds that this plant makes are THC, which is the compound that gives you the high, the euphoria, the paranoia, right? And then there's CBD or cannabidiol. That's a part of the plant that gives us the health benefits without the high. And I'm telling you, 3 years ago, I never knew anything about CBD. I had no idea that the cannabis plant had a side that gave you no high, but just the health benefits. And I'm telling you, when I found that information out that was held from me for 30 years, I was on board. Why? Because patients of mine were looking for alternative, holistic options to address their health. So the cannabis plant has two species. It has the marijuana species. That's a species that gets you high. We're not talking about that tonight. But what we are going to talk about is the hemp species. That's a species that contains high levels of CBD, trace levels of THC, and absolutely gives you no high. Zero high, no paranoia, no euphoria, just the health benefits without the high. So our products are extracted from the hemp species. So we're going to talk about CBD, cannabidiol. I've been using it in my practice for the last 3 years. And yes, I use it in combination with formal pharmaceutical medications. One being Imitrex. That's one of the big medications that they use for migraines. I use it with other traditional medications to help folks to have options for their health. Again, CBD has a long list of medicinal properties. It has a long list of medical or medicinal benefits. In fact, there's over 20,000 peer-reviewed articles that substantiate the medicinal benefits of CBD. And then the other cannabinoids like CBG and CBC, as you see here on the slide, they also have properties that give you the health without the high. And again, there's a long list of medicinal benefits of CBD. Over 5,000 years, CBD has been used to relieve pain. So it's an analgesic, just like acetaminophen or Tylenol, just like Motrin or Aleve or ibuprofen. CBD helps to relieve anxiety. You know, it's anxiety that increases when folks have migraines. It's debilitating. It makes you depressed and stressed and anxious. CBD also is an anti-inflammatory. You know, within the nerve fibers that are now inflamed, that are causing pain due to migraines, CBD can come in and reduce inflammation. CBD, you can see here, reduces nausea and vomiting, another symptom that folks who have migraines suffer from. So what it does, it comes in, it decreases inflammation. It also helps to properly dilate the vessels that are within the brain that causes migraine pain as well. CBD does a long list of things. It addresses a lot of disorders, but just know that the data and the science is out there. Over 20,000 peer-reviewed articles. In fact, UC San Diego, they're doing many studies on CBD now that it is a legal substance that can be used in every single state on a federal level since the 2018 Farm Bill was passed. That's a bill that allows hemp and its components to be legally consumed, sold, and cultivated in all 50 states. So the way CBD and the other cannabinoids work in the body is really science. It's not a snake oil or a magical potion. There's real science behind how it works in our body. And the science is through the endocannabinoid system. So this system has receptors that are looking for CBD to put the body in what we call balance or homeostasis. So these receptors act as signals to the brain, to the central nervous system, to the immune system, to the periphery, to signal those areas that are inflamed and causing pain. These receptors are found in every single organ and gland in our body. Really amazing that this science wasn't taught to us in medical school. But this science proves how CBD is able to do so many things. You can see all of these dots throughout the entire body. These are receptors where when there's inflammation, where there's pain, where there's anxiety, where there's inability to sleep, CBD comes in, attaches to those receptors, and puts the body back in balance or homeostasis. So there's real science. And what's even more significant is that until 1942, really until prohibition or the Marijuana Tax Act in 1937 occurred, cannabis was the standard treatment for migraines. It was the Tylenol and the Motrin and the Excedrin of today. It was the Imitrex of the day. But it wasn't until prohibition happened, cannabis was made illegal. But just know that it's anti-inflammatory, its analgesic or pain properties is why CBD works in those who have issues that cause migraines. It helps with nausea and vomiting. It helps reduce the blood pressure. Just an amazing plant. So let's talk about some of our products here at Wakana. None of these statements have been approved by the FDA. The FDA does not allow us to make any claims, right? So we cannot say that if you take our products, you'll never ever have a migraine. If you are nursing, pregnant, well, you wouldn't be because you're a man. We're focusing on men tonight. But if you're under a physician's care, if you're on medication, please consult with your physician before using any nutraceutical products. So I told you in 2018, the Farm Bill was passed. This was a bill that over, we're going to say 80 years, cannabis was a Schedule I drug. It was a drug that was deemed very dangerous, a high addictive profile, and severe safety concerns. But after 80 years, they removed hemp from that Schedule I class. So no longer is hemp, which is defined as containing high levels of CBD and 0.3% or less of THC, no longer is it illegal. So when that happened in 2018, oh my goodness, we saw CBD everywhere, right? We saw CBD, and you still can find CBD at the video store. I'm not sure if you want to buy a CBD product from a video store or a gas station. Those products, 9 times out of 10, are not tested. Well, here at Wakana, our products are products you can trust. We provide some of the most rich medicinal hemp that's compliant with the State Department of Agriculture. Our products are industrial hemp registered. Our products are Farm Bill compliant. That means our products are extracted from the hemp species, and they contain the legal limit of THC, which is 0.3% or less. Our products are even third-party validated. That means we go through an ISO lab, an unbiased lab. We send every single batch to ensure that what we say is in the bottle is in the bottle. So we offer certificates of analysis on all of our products because we are committed to the highest quality, which is critical in this market. So how do you take CBD oil? It's important that you place the oil underneath the tongue and you allow the oil to sit underneath the tongue for 60 seconds. That allows for the oil to be absorbed in the bloodstream, and it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get into the bloodstream. It's also important that when you place the oil underneath your tongue, that you don't eat, drink, or smoke anything for about 15 minutes to really allow for optimal absorption. Now, the first product I want to talk about is a very unique product. Our company is very unique, but our proprietary formulation on our products are unique, where we've taken and enhanced our CBD oil, which is organic, and we've enhanced it with organic certified essential oils. And we do that because it increases the anti-inflammatory properties, the analgesic properties, and even the antioxidative properties. And all those big words just mean that on a cellular level, we're getting a more potent and effective product that helps to reduce inflammation and pain. So this particular product, our Hempranium 500, has a proprietary formulation where we've added black seed, turmeric, and peppermint to our CBD oil. We've used our carrier oil, which is MCT and hemp seed oil, to help to facilitate the CBD to get into the bloodstream more effectively. Now, when you're using CBD initially, it's really important to start low and slow. Why? Because most people don't need a lot of CBD to put their body back in balance. So 3 drops twice a day under the tongue is a great way to start our CBD hemp powered 500 milligrams. Now, after 4 days, I recommend that if you're not getting the resolution that you're looking for, to increase it to 8 drops twice a day, and the maximum dose is 15 drops twice a day. Another great product for those who have migraines is our topical power liquid relief, or we call it Dr. Rita's rub. Now, we talked about those pain areas, right? Those who get headaches or migraines typically have pain in the temporal area, the occipital area, back of the head, the neck, the jaw. Absolutely, you can take this topical pain relief, 1 to 2 drops, and rub it in the temporal area or in the back of the neck or in the jaw area, wherever that migraine is causing discomfort. Again, this particular product is 200 milligrams of CBD, but we've enhanced it. Remember, we are unique here at Wakana. We've enhanced it with 19 to 20 USDA certified essential oils, again, to assist to bring down inflammation and to help with pain. Our Diamond Life pre-roll is a great product for those who have migraines. Why? Because we talked about how some migraines can be acute, right? They can just out of nowhere pop up. So you need a product that will acutely address a symptom of migraine within 1 to 5 minutes. That's why I love pre-rolls and our cartridges, because 1 to 3 pulls can abate that acute onset of migraines. This pre-roll has 106 milligrams of CBD, so please don't smoke the entire pre-roll in one sitting. All you need is 1 to 3 pulls to really address acute onset of migraine. So it's very, very fast acting. Remember though, if you have urine drug screens at your job, you're going to not want to use any of our products that are labeled in the black that you are consuming internally. Now, when we talk about topical products like our Dr. Rita's rub, I did not mention that if you have a urine drug screen at your job, you can safely use topical products. They will not pass the blood-brain barrier, meaning they won't pass into the bloodstream to get into the urine. So absolutely, the topical, you can rub in those areas for relief. Our Power Gummies, another great product for those who have migraines. Why? Because CBD addresses inflammation. These gummies are 25 milligrams of CBD, and it's a great product to take at night. Why? Because sometimes when you have a migraine, when you have disturbances with the vision or maybe throbbing pain in anywhere in the neck, in the head, the gummy will help you sleep. So this is a 25 milligram gummy. Using it about 30 minutes to 45 minutes before you're going to go to sleep is the best way to utilize this particular product. Now, mind you, in addition to the gummy, we've got the tincture that you've used twice a day under the tongue. So we have now a nice steady state of CBD within your bloodstream. So yes, all of these products should be used together. This product comes in a 20 count bottle or a 4 count package. Again, our gummies are very unique, as everything here at Wakana. Our gummies are infused. That means that the CBD is within the entire gummy and it's not coated. That allows for a more effective gummy when they are infused, like ours here at Wakana. Our broad spectrum gummies are gummies for those who may have random drug screens at their job. This is a product that contains less than 0.0% of THC. So any of our products that have a white label, those are the products, if you have a random drug screen at your job, that you want to take. Remember, the topicals you can take even if it contains the legal limit of THC. So our broad spectrum gummies are 40 milligrams of CBD, a great product to take for those who suffer from migraine. Why? Because it addresses inflammation, it addresses pain relief, and it allows you to have a really good night's rest. One gummy about 30 to 45 minutes before you go to sleep. It comes in a 16 count bottle as well as a 4 count package. So right now I'm going to bring on my business partner, Dr. Joy Smith, who is our pharmacist here. She is an amazing educator of essential oils. And we want to talk about how essential oils that we have here at Wakana can also be used for those who have migraine headaches. So, Dr. Joy Smith, are you out there?
I am, Dr. Rita. How are you? Can you hear me and see me okay?
I am good. I'm sorry I didn't have my volume up. No one told me they couldn't hear me well.
Oh, no, I can hear you. I can hear you just fine.
Well, welcome. We want to hear all about how our essential oils could help with those who suffer from migraines.
Okay, great, great, great. Well, thank you for that introduction. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right here. And we've already gotten so many good nuggets from Dr. Rita about migraines and how CBD can help. And I know we were gearing it toward the males in the audience, but it definitely does not discriminate. Females can get migraines too. In fact, I've had some experiences with migraines. They are not chronic like most people, but I had them when I was pregnant. And you heard Dr. Rita talk about triggers. Triggers for me were sweet foods or drinks. And I never knew how much sweet food or drink would cause that migraine, but I knew that it would wake me up out of my sleep while I was pregnant if I had too much. As far as this COVID situation is concerned, we have a lot more cleaning procedures that we have to do at work, and the chemicals or the wipes that we have to clean our stations with are very, very harsh smelling. So one day when I had to clean the stations a little more than normal, or clean more stations than normal because the computers weren't working, those smells of those wipes were getting into my system, and I was having like issues seeing and all of these other types of things. And that was the aura that she was talking about in terms of that coming on before the pain. So let's just talk about how I got where I am. This is me teaching at one of my volunteer organizations called Gilda's Club about essential oils. And those who know me know that I'm a pharmacist by day, but I'm an essential oil fanatic by night, plant-based oil fanatic by night. I'm a certified aromatherapist, and also, as Dr. Rita stated, her business partner in Wakana. And so my love for oils just runs really deep. I will talk to anyone who will listen about how plant-based oils and plant-based healing is so much better for your body. Your body is so much more receptive than synthetic drugs or than prescription drugs sometimes. Now, don't hear me say to stop all your prescription drugs and just douse your body in oil and go about your way. I'm not saying that at all. I think there are drugs that can be very life-saving. I think there are drugs that are used for many important purposes. But I also think that the holistic side is something that should be tried and should be experienced before automatically popping a pill. So Plant-based medicine was around before all of us were even born or thought of. And so there's something to be said about its effectiveness and its usage in our wellness and our health. So let's talk, I'm sorry, let me go back. Clicked a little bit too fast there. So let's talk about essential oils and how they work in the system. And this is a diagram. I won't go into all the complex intricacies and the processes of our brain, but what I will say is that essential oils reach an area of your brain called the limbic system. And as you can see in this graphic, when it reaches the limbic system, it can relax you, it can stimulate you, it can sedate you, depending on which oil is being used. But that limbic system is also responsible for our emotions, our blood pressure, our hormonal balance, a host of other things, stress, anxiety, being able to manage those things, and a host of other things, including our response to pain. So as you can see, when you inhale essential oils, those molecules go to the limbic system in the brain and perform those functions. So that's kind of why, I don't know if any of you all have heard, but if you're inhaling an oil like peppermint or eucalyptus, which is what I'm going to talk about this evening, if you're inhaling an oil like that, those molecules, just like when you rub it on your temples and those molecules travel to those areas through your brain, to your brain, excuse me. When those molecules travel to those areas, they travel through the olfactory system in that same way and have some of the same effects. So that's how they make their way to the brain, make their way to the limbic system, and work the magic that they need to work. So our Wakana peppermint oil. This is a great option for headaches. It contains that menthol. The menthol is a component of peppermint and eucalyptus that relieves congestion, can relieve tension, has a cooling effect on the body, as you see here. It stimulates blood flow, just like Dr. Rita was talking about in terms of the CBD properly dilating the vessels so that it can address headaches and address those migraines. And that cooling effect also slows the muscle contractions in the head and neck. So not only can you rub it on the temples or rub it onto the forehead, but you can also rub that peppermint oil on your neck in this area back here to relieve some of that tension, decrease some of that tightness. And when we're talking about the aroma of the peppermint, you may have heard people talk about nausea and motion sickness with regard to peppermint oil. And when you're inhaling that, it's addressing those issues as well. That nausea might be part of that aura, again, that Dr. Rita was talking about in terms of letting you know when that headache is coming. So my thought process about putting on peppermint oil is to mix about 2 or 3 drops in a carrier oil. And when I say carrier oil, what is that? Jojoba oil, coconut oil, grapeseed oil, whatever oil that you have that you can mix or dilute the peppermint oil with so that it's not going straight onto your skin. When you mix that with that and then you rub it into your temples, your forehead, your neck area, it can just help to release some of that tension. And when we're talking about the menthol is also present in eucalyptus oil. And so when we think eucalyptus, a lot of us think about, and peppermint for that matter, a lot of us think about the decongesting properties. And why is decongesting and clearing up the nasal passages and the buildup, why is that important? Because sinus tension, when you're congested, that buildup can cause headache as well. All of that congestion, the air has nowhere to go. So all of that congestion can cause tension. It can cause the headache because all of that sinus pressure is just building up here. There are certain people that have respiratory conditions. So if you have a respiratory condition and you're coughing and coughing and coughing, I know I've had some of those coughing fits before. You're coughing. When you're finally done with that fit, you may have a headache from that as well. So if you're having those respiratory issues and you need help with that, the eucalyptus oil can not only help with the headache piece and the pain response, but it can also open up your nasal passages and open up your airways so that that coughing is not even causing that headache. I would suggest to mix 2 to 3 drops in a teaspoon of carrier oil. I'm not sure if I put the teaspoon on the peppermint part, but in a teaspoon of carrier oil and massage into the temples, the forehead, the neck, all of those other things. You can also put 1 to 2 drops or 2 to 3 drops in a diffuser. Remember how we talked about the essential oil molecules being inhaled. You put it into a diffuser and it permeates through your space in terms of being in the air. The molecules are still reaching that limbic system just like they would when you rub them on your temples, and it travels through your body. If you want to hold the bottle and just inhale the vapors from the bottle, if you want to drop a couple of drops into a hot pot of boiling water and put your head over the pot of boiling water with a towel so that those vapors can just continue to open you up. These are just different ways that these essential oils can address any type of migraines, any type of headaches, and just really help you have a natural way that your body is used to taking in order to help those migraines. Again, I'm a pharmacist. I completely understand the use of medications to fix issues. I completely understand the use of prescription drugs to address different disease states. But what I also understand is that these medications can cause various side effects. With peppermint and eucalyptus oil, you're not really going to see a whole lot of side effects. It's going to be cost effective. You're not going to see a whole lot of issues with your liver, your kidneys. After taking these medications chronically over and over again, we're seeing kidney and liver issues. We're not going to see that with essential oils. So these are holistic options. These are options that you can take to put things into your body that your body is used to having. We're used to having plant-based matter going into our bodies. We're used to having fresh fruits and vegetables, as Dr. Rita talked about, having a good diet. We're used to having good things in our body, but our body sometimes will fight with some of the synthetic things, the processed foods, some of the prescription drugs. So I'm not saying don't take those drugs. I'm not saying just completely forget what your doctor is saying and just go off on your own path. But what I am saying is that plants do heal. So that is all that I have for this evening. I won't take up the whole conversation. I am Dr. Joy Smith. I'm on Facebook as Joy Marcel Smith, and this is my email address, drjoysmith14@gmail.com. If you need more information than what you've gotten here tonight, you just want to chop it up about essential oils, I am the person. I will talk to you all day until I'm blue in the face about essential oils. So thank you, Dr. Rita, for giving me this opportunity, and I will turn it back over to you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that great, great, great information. I do want to stress, because that was fantastic, I do want to stress something about one of our products, okay? And that is our liquid relief, Dr. Rita's Rub. Please do not take this product internally. This is not a product to ingest. This is not a tincture to put under your tongue. This is not a product to swallow, okay? There are some hot essential oils in this product, one being eucalyptus, that we don't recommend that you ingest. This is a topical product. You can rub it in your temple area, behind your neck, around the jawline, wherever that headache is causing discomfort. But we don't know what the long-term effect is of folks swallowing hot essential oils over time, one being eucalyptus. Would you like to chime in on that, Dr. Joy Smith?
I definitely agree. The eucalyptus for sure is one that I have learned not to ingest, not by personal experience, but based on my trainings, I've learned that eucalyptus is not one to ingest. I've seen peppermint ingested, but I always recommend that if you are unsure or you don't know how essential oils are going to respond to your body, always try a patch test on your skin just to see if you have any type of reaction. And likely if it's a reaction, what I like to tell people is if you're having a reaction to an essential oil, whether it's a breakout or whatever, that is your body detoxing. So essential oils have a very powerful detoxing component. That's your body detoxing. So try a small amount on your skin in an inconspicuous area and just see how it reacts with your skin. And if you have never used essential oils before, don't just try to take it internally and think that it's going to solve all your problems. I would suggest doing your research and consulting with an aromatherapist like myself or someone who is skilled in the natural wellness space to be able to guide you on which ones are internal and which ones aren't.
Well, thank you so much. Can't stress that enough. Our products that say topical should be used as recommended, which are topical. So I just want to end here before we take questions. A great, great package that we're offering for those loved ones, your fathers, your uncles, your nephews, husbands, boyfriends, the Father's Day special package. It does come with so many great products that we talked about tonight. The CBD liquid relief, the Hempranium 500 tincture, the power gummies, the broad spectrum gummies, the Diamond Life pre-roll, and a beautiful, beautiful card. This package is $119.95. We also want you to consider for those loved ones for Father's Day are those essential oils as well. We have the peppermint we talked about, great to reduce not only the pain, the cooling effects, it helps with the nausea, but also the eucalyptus. These are two great certified organic essential oils that can address migraines as well. So with that, we always want to remind you, nothing is magical. You've got to combine all of these holistic options with a good diet, clean eating. Processed food is no good, especially during this pandemic. Boosting our immune system, eating clean, lean protein is what we really advocate so that that CBD and those essential oils really can then become very magical. So for the whole month of June, I am offering free coaching through our Weight Loss for Life management program for only men, because it's June and it's Father's Day month, for only men who are serious about getting that weight off, getting themselves healthy, and being the best version of themselves that they can be. And the reason why I only want serious men, because we understand that our men sometimes don't let us know when they're not well, or they don't like going to the doctor. So let's start with that basic plant-based, whole food, clean eating. And so if you want to refer someone to this coaching program, please email me at ritamd@wakana.com. I'm only taking referrals from our business partners here at Wakana and new customers. I also want to invite you tomorrow evening for our Thursday focus group with Minister Mooney, where we do a complete business overview and we talk about an opportunity as well as our product. So at this time, I'm going to take questions. Dr. Joy and I will address some questions in the chat box, and then we'll let you go. But make sure that whoever invited you on the call, that you absolutely contact them when we are done this evening. So let's see. It says, thank you, ladies, pertinent information. Derek, as someone who occasionally suffers from migraines, this was great information to learn about both CBD and essential oils. Absolutely, combining these two is what you want to do. I agree, great information. This is so awesome. Awesome, Dr. Joy, great information, and thank you so much. Are you still able to glean the CBD effects when the oils are used in a diffuser? You want to address that? We can't hear you. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so gleaning the CBD effects when the oils are used in the diffuser. The essential oil molecules that you typically think about, like I'll use a popular one, lavender, peppermint that we talked about, eucalyptus. Essential oil molecules are a lot lighter than CBD or THC molecules for that matter. So when you diffuse them, a lot of them are just going to be left back in the diffuser as opposed to diffusing in the air, one. Two, the most effective way to get the health benefits of CBD is to actually ingest it internally or put it on topically. The CBD oil molecules just don't reach the limbic system that I talked about in the same way that those essential oil molecules do. So if you're trying to get the benefits of CBD, my best recommendation would be to ingest it in the ways that Wakana has outlined, whether it's gummies or tinctures or vapes or pre-rolls, whatever feels comfortable for you and your wellness regimen. I would ingest that. And then if you want the added benefit of essential oils that may not be included in any of our product lines, then I would diffuse that or use those topically as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fred. Yes, last week I talked about prostate health. I couldn't remember what I talked about last week. So we talked about male menopause or andropause. Yes, men go through menopause too. Then we spoke about prostate health. Thank you, Fred, last week. And then this week, we are touching on migraine, men, and CBD. So not sure what we're going to talk about next Wednesday, but please, please feel free to join our Facebook group, Wakana for Life Facebook group, so you can stay engaged with our conversations that we have each and every week. Also, we want to invite you again tomorrow evening with Minister Mooney when he does a business overview for Wakana. And let's see if there's any other questions. Yes, there are. These sessions have been awesome. Thank you, thank you. Can I use oils for my 14-year-old daughter? She complains about headaches, and doctors just say to limit her TV, computer, and game time. We've done that, and she's still having problems. Dr. Joy.
Yes, so essential oils can be used for all ages, from babies to baby borns. The dilution or the concentration of the essential oil is what's going to be important. So since your daughter is 14, she can kind of use the same strength as an adult would. But depending on if she's used essential oils before or if this is something that's new to her, same with CBD, start low and go slow. Don't feel like you have to use the whole bottle. If she's having the headaches and you all have limited the TV, gotten away from all the harmful light, the gaming time, all those things, and that's not working, it wouldn't hurt to apply essential oil maybe to her temples or her forehead and see how that might help her, and even diffusing it in the area. I don't see any issue with that.
Right. And also look at her diet. You know, you can't forget there could be food she's eating that are triggering these migraines and headaches too. So making sure you have a food diary, making sure that she's staying away a lot of the fast foods and fried foods. Mm-hmm. And absolutely, I would use those products just like Dr. Joy recommended for a 14-year-old.
And even chocolate can be a trigger. Is that correct? Is it the tyramine in it, or I can't remember what it is. It's a certain component in chocolate that can trigger migraines as well.
What about someone that suffers from bad sinus problems? What should they use?
I think to start, peppermint and eucalyptus are good because, like I said, they have that menthol, and that's going to work on the congestion. That's going to work on the tension. And the tension can be either in the neck or shoulders or in the head because of the headache. The sinus congestion that's causing all of that pressure, if blowing your nose is not working, if whatever sinus medications you have aren't working, I find that for sinuses, that method that I talked about putting the oils inside of like a boiling pot of water, and even if you don't have any oils, just putting the boiling pot of water here and then putting a towel over your head and letting those vapors and that steam just open you up. The oils are just an added bonus to that method. A lot of people use a neti pot. That's kind of like making your own neti pot at home. But I think that that's a great way to start in terms of the congestion. And like Dr. Rita said, or sinus problems, like Dr. Rita said, look at your diet. There are a lot of foods and some things that can trigger mucus and trigger all that mucus production. Mm-hmm, dairy, for sure.
Stay away from dairy. Dairy is of the devil.
Yeah. Yes.
Stay away from dairy.
Oh goodness. Yes. So I mean, the sinuses, the allergies. We didn't talk about our black seed oil this evening, but black seed oil is very effective for allergies. I know some people that take it seasonally, like when they know that that allergy season is coming up, they just double down on their black seed oil. And that's something else that Wakana offers as well. So it's too many plants out here for us not to be taking advantage of them,
Right.
and too many oils that are derived from those plants for us not to be taking advantage.
You know, my 24-year-old suffers from really bad seasonal allergies. So I took him off of dairy. I put him on black seed and CBD. My son does not have allergies. And it's amazing because we were golfing last year and he's like, Mom, there's all this pollen and I'm fine. Like, you know, it just, when you combine a good diet with these products, it becomes magical. It really does. So I can't stress enough. Look at your diet. Okay. Look at your diet.
And
Um,
Dr. Rita, if I may add, before
yeah.
you go to the next question, piggybacking off of the diet again, I have read research that states that CBD is better absorbed in those who have a primarily plant-based diet, or primarily a diet with good fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, that type of thing. So your diet means a lot, not only for your headaches and your triggers, but how you're able to absorb all of these wellness things that we're suggesting to you.
Right. They did a study, we'll have to find it and share it with everyone, that a lot of folks who don't respond to CBD, they don't get the response they're looking for. They found that these folks were deficient in their essential fatty acids, their omega-3s. So just like Dr. Joyce said, a poor diet causes it to the CBD to have to work really, really hard to be effective on a cellular level. So we can't stress that enough. Proper diet. Are some of these CBD products good for people over 80 years old? You absolutely can use CBD in people over 80 years old. We have a recommended dosing on our products, but there's also the event that if an 80-year-old is, let's say, 100 pounds, they're going to need less, 9 times out of 10, less CBD than someone who may be 180 pounds. So looking at the size, looking at the severity of this 80-year-old, and starting low and starting slow. You don't need a lot of CBD in most cases to get the resolution that you're looking for. My daughter does too, suffers from allergies really bad. Thank you. Yes. Take them off of dairy. Should you first see if you are allergic to certain plants? Some people are.
I mean, yeah, if you are allergic to particular plants and an essential oil that you're taking may have been derived from those plants, then yes. If you are going to be using an essential oil internally and you do not know, because you have not either talked to your doctor, your pharmacist, or your aromatherapist, whether that particular essential oil has some of the same properties or some of the same healing effects as the drugs that you're taking, then you are going to want to space out your essential oil usage, if it's internally, about 2 hours at least from whatever time you're taking your medication, because essential oils, they're powerful. The healing power in the plants, some of them can assist, not cure. Some of them can assist with blood pressure. Some of them can assist with lowering inflammation. Some of them can assist with a host of other things. And you just want to make sure that what the essential oil or the CBD oil is doing is not overlapping and causing a magnified effect to what your drugs are already doing.
Wow, this has been a great conversation. This has been a great conversation. A lot of good information, a lot of great products that can assist the men in our lives that we love. We've got great packages for Father's Day. We have essential oils that also can be purchased separately. So we want you to contact the person that invited you this evening to get your products ordered, to get your questions answered. And again, we invite you, if you're free tomorrow, for our presentation our business overview with Minister Mooney. There is the information, the Zoom ID. It's at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And thank you again, Dr. Joy. This has been such a pleasure. I love working with you.
Thank you. I love working with you too.
We will see everyone here next Wednesday night. I'm not sure what we'll talk about, but feel free to email me and give me some information if you like, as topics as it pertains to men, because June is the month for our men. My email is Rita, R-I-T-A, M-D at wakana.com. Rita MD at wakana.com. I think there was one more question. Just a lot of great comments. Thank you so much. This was awesome, fantastic as usual. Thanks, doctors. You are so good. Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you, thank you. There was something about a basketball player I thought I saw. Oh, okay. Will do, Dr. Joy. She's a basketball player and she eats great. Okay. Well, I would love to see what she's eating because a lot of people say they eat great. So I would love to see what she's eating, right? Some people think they're eating great, but there could be some foods in there that is causing some issues with migraines and headaches. So have a good night. Thank you all. I'm going to leave you to go deliver some babies like I always do on Wednesday night, and we'll see you next week.